All right, welcome to another Art Talk. So today what I wanted to talk about was energy. Because energy is the one factor that's either going to make you possibly successful or be the thing that's going to make you a failure and not move forward with things. And energy plays such a big role because if you don't have the energy, and that means because of possibly your body health, your just desire to work on something and actually start creating something, and your energy is just kind of low, and it's just like, I'm just going to work on this today and see what happens. Everything is affected by that because the energy needs to come through you and out of you, and it's going to happen even in your drawings. Think about how sometimes if you think about your drawings that you've done in the past, where you just recall and remember the energy that you put into it when you were just scribbling and you were drawing and it was coming out of you like 1,000 miles an hour and you're just like moving through because the ideas are popping out. That's where the success comes from, leading you into more of an effective drawing and everything else, as opposed to just sitting there, right? I don't know what I want to draw. I don't know what I want to do today. I don't know. I don't know what I want to study. I don't know what I want to learn. How can you create any results that way? How can anything good come from that? And the reality is that it can't. So the energy level within yourself is going to determine how fast you're going to get up out of bed in the morning, how willing you are to show up in an event, as opposed to that failure of not doing it, because the low energy produces low results. It's just the way it is. Just think about energy in regards to power. If there's no energy in that battery that you have, right, the battery dies, there's not enough juice in it, well, what stops working? That thing stops working. And that's what's happening to you, is if your energy is too low and you don't have enough of it, you're just at this low place to eventually you're not going to be working, you're not going to be going, you're not going to be producing, and nothing comes out of it. So the real question is, well, how do I raise my energy? How do I get my energy levels up? How do I increase that? And that's what we really got to focus on. And part of that increasing your energy is it's the mindset. It's the mindset of how you just want to approach things. Number one, for myself, I increase my energy by listening to just effective conversations. I love listening to, if it's a podcast, if it's a documentary, that can just start to just get my energy started riling up and starting to affect change in me. I can get my energy up just by if I'm just getting out and about, like just moving and being engaged by seeing things and going someplace, maybe, and I don't want to just say, oh, it's having an energy drink. You can't just be drinking coffee all day and energy drinks and think that's what's going to do it. It's just got to be more of that that learning. I feel that's where it sort of comes up into me. And also just your physical attitude. How are you going to just approach today? How are you going to move into it? You can move into today saying that everything's horrible, everything's bad, everything's gone wrong. Otherwise, you can move into today and saying today is today, and I'm just going to just, it's not like I'm just going, smile, you got to smile, just be happy in that energy and do that. It's actually part of it is your physiology and moving your body in some sort of way. There's sometimes before I'll even do my talks that I do if ever I'm doing a workshop, if ever I'm doing on my Wednesday hangouts, and maybe I could be a little slow going. I'm just gonna just get up and do some jumping jacks. Otherwise, I'm just doing some stretching things on my just with an elastic thing, just to move my body and just stretch and do those things and just let my body be moving and stay active. And one way to increase your energy is by not looking and watching things or listening to people who are just bringing you down. And that could be the news, that could be someone in a part of another group, or you're just not engaged and their energy is really low, and those sort of things will bring down your energy. So those are the things that we have to do, is just find ways for yourself that are going to increase that energy. And I feel like energy comes from learning. Energy comes from gaining that knowledge. Energy comes from hearing stories of people who have overcome something where they were down and out and it wasn't working for them, but they did this, and all of a sudden by doing this, it moved them into this new energy level. And what's going to come from that is once you start seeing results, of course, energy comes from that too. I remember just when I used to work out a long time ago. I don't work out and lift weights anymore like I did when I was in my younger 20s. But when I did, I just recall that, when I was first starting to lift weights, it was a pain in the ass, and getting the momentum and the energy to get up and go to the gym was such a pain in the ass. And it was just like, oh God, this is just going to be like, I'm just dragging. But all of a sudden I do it and I force myself to do it and I go. But then I started to see results, and I started to see my muscles getting bigger, and I started to see I started to feel more confident in myself. And that's part of your energy comes through your confidence too, which is another major thing. And it will increase your confidence when you have the energy. And then I would start I don't need this t-shirt. I'm going to wear a tank top. I'm going to go to that fair and wear a tank top, because, man, I'm feeling good about my body. But through that energy and through that momentum of seeing results, that's what led me to go to the gym more often. And then I kept going and kept going. And it wasn't so much of a problem anymore because I knew there was something coming from that. And that's sort of like how it works. And that's what's going to boost your energy within your own artwork as you're working on that is your momentum. Again, you can drag your feet all you want, but you're not going to get anywhere. But if you just start building up the momentum, forcing yourself to do it more and more, and you start to see the results, that's going to be an energy booster because your confidence is being built and you start to realize, holy moly, I can do this, that this is achievable, that I can make something out of myself. And then eventually that energy is going to come, and that's what we want. So that's why energy plays such a major role into your success or your failure in your life. And if you find that you are missing a lot in your life and things aren't working out, and you do maybe feel like you're failing a lot and things are happening, I want you to look at your energy. I want you to look at how you approach things. I want you to look about how you treat things. How do you face different challenges that come up to you where people might say something to you that offends you or isn't what you want? How are you going to approach that? Are you going to go into it with this like, oh, screw you, F that, all that, and yell and complain and bitch and moan and write negative messages? Or are you going to go, hey, you know what? That's fine. That's your belief. That's what you want to think. I'm cool with that. I'm moving on with my own life. Or are you going to blame your job? You're going to blame your boss. You're going to blame your parents. You're going to blame all these things. And it becomes all this blame game all the time of all these things that are happening to you, which don't allow you just to move beyond that. And oftentimes I can say that I truly find that people who aren't getting to where they want to be in this life is because they're complaining about so much. And that's bringing down a low energy, right? We can't have high energy if we're constantly blaming and judging and doing all this stuff about other people and other things. And that's what I want you to just sort of maybe really look at in yourself, that maybe what I need to do is just start eliminating all this. Once I start eliminating all that aspect of these people, the complaining, the bitching, the moaning, and all this other stuff, and this is never going to happen for me, and you're constantly the self-doubt and the self-talk that this isn't going to work out, then of course it's not going to work out. Once again, bringing down your low energy. So you want to surround yourself with people and communities that are of high energy, that do have good things that are going to reinforce that and get you engaged in that way, and remove yourself from things that you truly know are taking you down. And sometimes it's people, and a lot of times it's people. And what you got to do is detach yourself from those people and those situations. And you may say, God, man, where I'm living in the world, my roommate is this and that. Well, you got to get a new roommate. You got to move away from where you're currently living. Even if you can't get out of your city, move to another part of the city. We all have the ability to make change. It's up to us to make the change. We get to decide. And that's what I did in my life. I made so many decisions of change in my life that always kept pushing me more and more above and beyond and beyond and beyond. It's just like, here I'm working, I'm living in San Diego. I had the comfort of living at my parents' house, but I made the decision that this wasn't going to be the ideal situation for me just to stay here, that I'm going to try this and I'm going to move out at the age of 18. And I moved out at that moment just to go to junior college, but I stayed out. I never went back. When I made the decisions just when when I was working at places just to go work in another state. Just I could have stayed in the same state and just said, I'm just going to stay here because I'm comfortable here and this is, it's best to be here. But I made those hard decisions. I'm going to go into the unknown. And by doing these things in my life, I went backpacking around the world for 8 months. I made these decisions that I have to make these choices. And these choices are what led to increase and increments of my life, and increasing my life, and increasing the things that occur in my life and the opportunities that happen in my life. And it stems from that energy and that willingness to do so. So that's something that I recommend that you really look at. Try to change that state of mind, because it's all about that. And if you can change that state of your mind and where you're currently at to projecting yourself into better places and not being the victim, and as long as you're the victim and all these problems and I've heard it all before, play me the violin, and I don't, again, I don't mean to hurt anyone's feelings, but even if I'm hurting your feelings, I shouldn't be hurting your feelings right now, right? Those are the things you got to let go of and say, okay, I'm going to listen to that. Let me hear your words. I hear that and I accept that. Let me move forward. Let me try something new. But I can tell you what holds people down the majority of the time is the constant bitching and moaning and blaming about all these other outside sources, all these things that are happening within their world, and it's that they can't do it. And okay, fine, your wish is my command. That's going to be the reality, all right? So try to bring up that energy level. Try to keep educating yourself. Keep reading books. Find books that are going to bring that energy, that are going to bring that momentum. Learn from the people. Watch videos. Listen to podcasts. Watch documentaries. Just do something different other than what you're currently doing right now. Because whatever you're doing right now that's producing such low energy, and that could be food, that you're shoving in your body all the time, might be producing that low energy, well then it's up to you to make the change. And until you make that change, no one else is going to do it for you. It's up to you, all right? So think about these things and try to get to that place where you want to get to, all right? Make it a great week, and I'll talk to you next week. Take care.